Maybe you manage a sales team or an independent commission-only sales rep yourself. In this video, we're going to talk about why your conversion rate has tanked, but more importantly, get down to the root cause that causes dips in conversion rates so you can prevent slumps from showing up again in your business. Maybe you had a team that was closing at 40, 30%, and all of a sudden it's dropped down to 10, 15, or 5%, or sometimes even worse. So let's go ahead and jump right into the three root causes a conversion rate to drop. So the first thing that we must get right is to make sure you're actually looking at the real numbers in your business. Over the last 3 years, I've been a part of 12 different online businesses in the e-learning, coaching, consulting, biz op, done for you services, all the way over to tech and SaaS. I've sold few and far between. And the one thing where most businesses go wrong is simply not looking at their numbers properly. More often than not, sales reps let their ego get the best of them and say they're closing at ridiculously high numbers, but they're not doing the real math. So I'm going to give you the actual numbers you should be working by. You should take the number of deals closed divided by the number of people who showed up minus your qualified. Not qualified means you didn't pitch them or they weren't even a fit. Like, let's say you're selling beef, they want fish. And you should find a conversion rate somewhere between 25, 30, sometimes 40, and in very rare cases, 50% and upwards. If you're not using that math, you're using some sort of distorted way of calculating your conversion rate. You want the real, honest reality of your business. The lower and worse your numbers are, oftentimes the better. Because if you're perfecting your business around the worst case metric, the real ugly numbers, then anytime you use some sort of vanity metric or other ridiculous way of calculating the performance of your business, it's gonna look that much better. It's like if you're an organic being, right? And you're optimized to handle the most harsh, worst, difficult climates, such as Antarctica or the middle of Sahara Desert. If you can survive there and you're well optimized for that, when things are normal, then life is going to be good. 2, odds are 1, you started a new ad campaign on a fresh traffic source. 2, you began mixing more organic traffic into your lead generation strategy. When it comes to ads and campaigns, the reason why your conversion rate sometimes drops when you're running new ads and campaigns is because the algorithm itself, the magic wand, the magic hand, which brings customers to you, isn't fully optimized for your market and doesn't know how to bring you buyers. Understand that the lead who comes into your funnel is also the lead that's probably been in 5, 6, 7 other funnels. If I'm hungry, let's say I get a craving for McDonald's and I'm driving down the road. It might not necessarily be McDonald's that I'm craving. It's just food or a burger or something greasy. And then if I see Dan's Hamburgers that's 5 minutes away and let's say McDonald's is an hour away, I might stop at Dan's. Is Dan the one that made me hungry? No, originally I was hungry for McDonald's. However, Dan's was closer, my cravings were high, and I didn't want to drive that far, so I bought Dan's regardless. The same thing applies to your business. Leads, customers, prospects will get warmed up in other people's funnels before they get sent to yours, and serendipitously, they might be ready to buy by the time they see you, but they might have attended 4 or 5 other 6 sales calls before they spoke with your team. So when you're starting a new campaign, odds are you're gonna get the leftover traffic. The algorithm's trying to figure out who even to give you to, and it's also trying to figure out what market you're in. So you're gonna get leads that aren't necessarily ready and primed to buy and haven't been seduced by somebody else. The second thing, organic. If your business first breaks into organic, if you do not have an audience already and you're running ads and you want to begin to supplement organic, you're going to see a dip in conversion rates for the same principal reason. You're now trying to convince people who have not been seduced, persuaded, or been around you long enough as an influencer or as a product, as a solution. People need to be product aware, people need to be solution aware, and then they also need to be financially ready to buy. So when you're doing organic, oftentimes it's a shot in the dark. Maybe you're doing a JV relationship on a podcast and pulling other people's traffic. That's a great way to get revenue. But if you're running Facebook ads and you just start doing cold outreach on LinkedIn, those leads are going to be notoriously harder to sell because they simply have not been indoctrinated to you and they're not already following you. Now, if you do already have a following of 100,000, 200,000 subscribers, and then you go and decide to tap into them and begin doing promos to them, you will see a massive bump in revenue because you've built rapport. Those people have been seduced. However, that's very short-lived revenue. It's a good way to get cash in the door. Your business is not going to ride the same highs as when you're tapping into a fresh market. It's like if you have, what's a good example? It's like if you have a water balloon, right? You've been filling it up with water and water and water, and then it pops and all the water comes out. That's it. You've pulled all the water out of the balloon, and then you have to like wrap another one over the hose. Understand the premise. Now, The third reason why your conversion rate will drop, this is where most people go wrong, is simply they don't spend enough time developing problems. Let's say you have a really good sales team. All of a sudden there's just a drop in your conversion rates on your closers, even though setters are taking the same amount of input, but your conversion rate has dropped. One of the textbook reasons why this happens is going to be because your setters and your marketing and your branding and everything your business is about is no longer focused on the problem that you are solving. People spend money to solve their problems, period. The minute that you move away from solving problems, the harder it is to get people to buy. I buy blue light locker glasses because they prevent me from getting headaches when I'm behind my computer for a long time. But the minute you take your product, stop talking about the problems you're solving and say, you should buy it because it looks good. You should buy it because the lenses are like this high quality glass. The minute you start focusing on features and no longer the benefits of the problem that you solve, that's when things begin to go sideways. And this happens all the time. This is like a very slow and gradual death. It's because on setter calls, it's much easier to sell people the hype of your product than to actually work with them to figure out if they have the problem you solve. It's a much easier conversation to say, hey, look, our stuff is great. I think you should you should go speak with our team. Go learn more about it. As opposed to, is your arm broken? Yeah, how long has it been broken for? Does that hurt? Oh, cool. I think we can help you fix it. Go speak with our team. First one, you're running a fresh campaign and you're getting mismatched leads from the sorting hat that is the virtual algorithm, and you're not getting people who are primed and ready to buy. Two, you're tapping into an organic market where you don't already have rapport and an audience. It becomes that much harder to convert those people because they don't know who you are. And three, you're not focusing on developing problems around which you provide a solution. So let's talk about the cure-all fixes for all of these, right? When it comes to organic and leads and new campaigns, add friction to your process. Make it harder to get on their closer's calendar. Separate the wheat from the chaff. Focus on developing and expanding the problem you solve. That is the biggest thing that will bring your conversion rates back up. Realign your business to the problem at which you are solving and hammer everybody over the head with the importance and severity of the problem that you solve. When they show up to the call with a broken arm that effing hurts and they're ready to do something about it, that's when they're ready to buy. All right, that's all I got to say in this video, guys. I hope you found it helpful, and until the next one, all the best.